Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
This is the day they arrived.
The object touched down 40 minutes ago.
Mama, what's going to happen?
I don't know.
Dr. Banks, you're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations. You hear any words?
Is that...
Yes.
Am I the only one having trouble saying aliens?
So what do they look like? You'll see soon enough.
They need to see me.
Dr. Banks?
Now that's a proper introduction.
More objects have landed around the world.
It's their language.
Got 21 hours
Before they start global war. They're not our enemy.
We need to talk to them.
It's more complicated than that.
How is it more complicated?
Are you dreaming in their language?
What does it say?
Weapon.
So how do we clarify their intentions?
I go back in.
What is she doing? You are committing an act of treason.
Do you trust me?
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by...
Ian Bruce.
And Marcus Hurley.
I've seen a couple of films starring Amy Adams recently. I saw Arrival, the new film by Denis Villeneuve. That's how you pronounce it, because I've heard his name a lot recently. Yeah, it's not Dennis. But anyway, this is like probably one of the finest sci-fi movies I have ever seen. It borrows quite liberally from 2001, and also has a kind of puzzly structure, like similar to, say, Interstellar, perhaps, or Prestige. It's that kind of. You start watching it, and it's about basically Amy Adams plays a linguist who is asked to. Basically, these huge pods arrive on Earth, 12, randomly. And she is asked to help communicate with the aliens. Not just blow them out of the sky. They actually want to try and communicate with them, which makes the game seem... which makes the movie seem even more far-fetched under the current way things have gone recently. But because of that, it also makes it incredibly optimistic and... really touching, and like hopeful for humanity, I think. So yeah, she's brought in to communicate with these aliens. I won't explain what the aliens look like, but it's cool, and the way they communicate is awesome and interesting. And the film, like towards the end, there's a mind-blowing sort of reveal. And it just all fits together so nicely, and it's cerebral and it's emotional, and it's probably the best film I've seen this year, I would say, at this point. It's incredible. See it on a big screen if you can. It's phenomenal. I really loved it.
Excellent.
And the other film I saw with Amy Adams is called Nocturnal Animals, and this is a film directed by Tom Ford. And it's basically Amy Adams plays this kind of vacuous, loathsome art gallery owner. Basically, she gets a parcel one day in the post, and it's a manuscript for a book written by her ex-husband, who it turns out she left in a really horrible way. And so the film is her reading the book, and then you're seeing the events in the book play out. And so Jake Gyllenhaal plays her ex-husband, who is cast as the main protagonist in the book. And he also has a wife and daughter. And the daughter is played, I think, by the same character that plays Amy Adams' real daughter, who we see at some point. So you're looking at a fiction inside a fiction. And then they kind of come together sort of towards the end. Oh, and then we're seeing flashbacks of how the breakup happened. And it's really cool. The opening credits are quite a sight to behold. I won't explain why, but I was watching it going, please make this stop. It's really quite grim. So, I recommend that. It was a really good movie, actually. Good payoff. It's about revenge, basically, and I won't say any more. But yeah, Michael Shannon pops up. Armie Hammer. Isla Fisher plays Jake Gyllenhaal's wife in the book part. And yeah, it's really, really cool movie, actually. Directed by Tom Ford, who doesn't do that many, but when he does do a film, my God, does he do a film. He did a Single Man, and something else was pretty good. Oh, yeah, Single Man is his only other directorial film, but I think he's worked on a few. But yeah, no, that was really cool. So yeah, that's it for me. That's all I've been watching.
Well, I'd just like to add that, I don't know, did I mention it before? We watched Jason Bourne.
Oh yeah,
bring it on then. Right,
where do I begin? Possibly with It, and I'll end with rubbish.
Okay.
Terrible. Absolutely
vindicated, bitches. Right.
I have to say, I watched The Bourne Legacy after that, and it was an infinitely better film.
Really?
And that didn't even have Jason Bourne in, apart from a scribble under a bed.
Yep.
I don't understand what went wrong. It was basically like someone picked up this film, had the budget for like a TV movie, but with film grade cameras.
Yeah.
And just
let's get everybody together. Let's have a laugh.
Shit. Yeah, it was ridiculous. No, it wasn't even that. I enjoyed Die Hard 4.0 more than this.
Yes, I would rather watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull than Jason Bourne.
Oh yeah, that was actually great compared to this. Even with Shia LaBeouf doing his Jungle Book impression. I don't quite understand how that could be regarded as filmmaking. Even with the shaky camera angles, I know you had the technical annoyances from that. Storyline, I did spot the let's crop the database with SQL bit, and that did make me go, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just everything about the film is off.
Yes.
Absolutely everything about it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't. It just. Yeah, it didn't even make me angry. It made me feel sad.
Disappointed.
I know there was some comedy with.
Disappointed.
Yeah, I was just disappointed because these people on their own produce fantastic films, but this particular casserole of ingredients was like eating your own excrement.
It was ridiculous.
While watching your parents have
on
sex,
the flip side,
it was just horrible.
Oh, good grief! There's an analogy. That's his point.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. Lightening up the mood a bit. We did watch Finding Dory in the cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
We found a little cinema that was still showing that. Loved it. Gotta say, I'm surprised. I did not expect Nemo and Marlin to be in it as much. I really didn't expect it to be a sort of sequel, prequel, parallel running storyline story that it was. I thought it was amazing. I couldn't believe how good it was. Considering how long between films, and it felt like these films had been made back to back by the same people.
I did watch Nemo just before I went to see Dory, and I think Nemo is definitely a better film.
It is, but I think that's because the other one plays up to little bits, because they kind of think, well, we have to remind you of stuff that happens, and there's the little Easter egg bits, like obviously the seagulls that go mine and stuff. And it's that the sea lion on the rock. It sounds a bit like Idris Elba to me.
It is.
It is. Okay, that weirded me out a bit.
Off.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of animals these days, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I love it. That was their little mine.
Yeah.
That was this one's off.
But I just found it to be a nice little story. The way that the conclusion at the end was nice. It wrapped up quite nicely, and I thought that's how you tell a story. Why is it so bloody difficult?
Yeah,
I don't.
Well,
it's
definitely one of the better. It's one of the good Pixar movies for sure.
I watched The Invitation this morning, which was recommended by Sean on the Chili Dogs group. As I mentioned...
What's that? Is that a movie?
It's a movie. It is a movie. It's a character piece. It's a group of people go around to a house. They've been invited by some old friends. They go around and stuff happens. That's all I'm going to give you. But it's certainly not a film to be watching first thing on a fucking Sunday morning. Jesus. I was feeling very weepy and a bit let down at the end with society and humanness. But it was a great film.
Oh.
If you can just put up with dark stuff, it was a good film. The other film I saw. So I do have a lot of spare time at the moment because my wife is studying. There's a film on one of the streaming services called The Ones Below. Right. It's got Clement Percy, David Morrissey. I'm fairly sure it's a Channel 4 movie or BBC film somewhere.
Okay.
And it's just quite dark as well. But there's only like 4 people in it. 4 people and a kid.
Right.
Very dark. Great performances. Loved it. Love that kind of like Shallow Gravy type thing. It's not like Shallow Grave, but it's that kind of just a four-hander, which isn't really a word.
Oh, okay. What's that basically about then?
It's written by David Farr, who did The Night Manager.
Oh, okay.
He directed it as well, I think. I know he's just directing it. So it's basically, the premise is a couple above, it's a 2-floor flat, 2-floor house. The couple at the top have a kid, and the couple moving below them and the couple below are a little bit odd. That's all I can say. That's all I knew going into it, and that did enough for me. But really, David Morrissey on fine form. I really like her. She was in the UK French version of The Bridge, which was called The Tunnel, as we don't have a bridge. And yeah, it's dark and unpleasant and very twisty. So worth a look. And I will shortly find out which streaming service it's on. Fairly sure it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it is. It's on Prime. This has been the Not Watching Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about video games and virtual reality on the Not Playing Podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening Podcast. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!